key one. Stoic in today's world, where most interactions happen through screens and digital channels, it's more essential than ever to truly understand the nature of the people we encounter. Every day, we cross paths with individuals whose behavior might seem normal at first glance. But beneath the surface, there may be subtle, dangerous traits lurking. These are not the obvious threats we often envision, lurking in the shadows, but rather the ones hiding in plain sight, those who blend seamlessly into everyday life. Ancient Stoic philosophers taught us to be sharp observers of human nature. They didn't just encourage us to look at the surface. They urged us to look deeper, to understand the underlying motives and actions of the people around us. This understanding isn't just about judgment. It's about protection. Knowledge is power, but it's also a shield, one made not from fear, but from wisdom and discernment. When we arm ourselves with this kind of insight, we don't just safeguard our peace, we protect our lives. Let's take a closer look at the traits of potentially dangerous individuals who may be hiding in plain sight. These traits aren't always obvious, but understanding them helps us stay vigilant, protected, and centered. Imagine someone who always has the perfect words at the perfect time. At first, they seem harmless, offering small favors, acting helpful. But as time goes on, you start to notice their underlying intentions. They're subtly guiding you to make decisions that serve their own needs, not yours. They use flattery, guilt, and even the sense of obligation to manipulate you into thinking you owe them something. This erosion of your independence happens gradually, often without you realizing it at first. Stoicism teaches us that we have the power to control our responses, rather than reacting impulsively. When faced with manipulation, the Stoic approach is to step back and detach. This moment of reflection helps us recognize manipulation for what it is, external attempts to influence our internal decisions. It's not about ignoring our emotions, but understanding them as signals rather than commands. This gives us the strength to break free from manipulative tactics and reclaim our autonomy. Now imagine someone who consistently pulls at your heartstrings. Perhaps a friend who always has a sob story when they need something, or a partner who exaggerates their disappointment when you set boundaries. Emotional manipulation is a sophisticated form of control, where your feelings are used like strings to pull you in different directions. Stoicism offers a powerful defense against emotional manipulation. By cultivating inner peace and clarity, we can separate our emotions from external influences. A Stoic would ask themselves, is this guilt or sympathy truly mine, or has it been planted by someone else? This self-awareness dismantles the manipulator's control. Stoicism isn't about suppressing emotions. It's about mastering them so that we don't fall prey to emotional manipulation. This ability to detach allows us to build relationships rooted in mutual respect, not emotional debt. Think about a person who gradually isolates you from your support network. It might be a partner who suggests that your friends don't understand you the way they do, or a family member who subtly criticizes those closest to you, planting seeds of doubt. This tactic can be cloaked in concern or love, making it difficult to confront. The Stoic perspective teaches us that community is a vital part of human well-being. Isolation, when manipulated, threatens our moral judgment by severing connections that reflect our values. A Stoic would advise us to resist anyone who pressures us to distance ourselves from those who support us. Instead, they would encourage us to strengthen and nurture our support networks, reinforcing relationships that reflect our principles and values. Finally, consider dealing with someone whose actions don't align with their words. One day, they're kind and supportive, and the next, they're distant or dismissive with no clear reason why. This inconsistency creates confusion, keeping you on edge, never knowing what to expect. Stoicism values internal consistency, aligning thoughts, words, and actions in harmony. When faced with inconsistency in others, the Stoic approach is to pause, reflect, and assess. These discrepancies may reveal a lack of integrity or deeper manipulative tactics. Rather than allowing someone else's unpredictability to destabilize us, the Stoic would remain grounded in their own values, understanding that such inconsistency often reflects a deeper lack of character. In today's world, it's easy to become disconnected, hidden behind screens and digital facades. But true connection requires understanding the deeper layers of human behavior. By applying Stoic principles, we can sharpen our ability to recognize manipulation, emotional control, and other subtle tactics that threaten our well-being. Living with awareness and discernment doesn't mean living in fear. It means having the wisdom to make better decisions, protect ourselves, and build meaningful relationships based on mutual respect, not manipulation. By embracing the Stoic virtues of wisdom, courage, and self-discipline, we empower ourselves to live authentically, free from the negative influence of others' harmful tactics. Key 1. Stoic. The key to navigating life's challenges is to stay grounded in your principles, holding firm to your internal compass, even when faced with the inconsistencies of the world around you. Think of it as the Stoic practice of focusing on what is within our control. While we can't control the actions of others, we have the power to control our responses to them. We can choose to react in ways that uphold our dignity, our peace of mind, and our values, no matter the behavior directed at us. If someone's inconsistency is meant to manipulate or control, recognizing that fact gives us the strength to not engage with their games. From there, we can make the decision to set firm boundaries, confront the behavior directly, or, if necessary, distance ourselves. Inconsistency in others' words and actions can serve as a warning sign, demanding our careful attention. By applying Stoic wisdom, we can stay centered, clear-headed, and make decisions that protect our well-being while staying true to our values of honesty and integrity. Now, let's consider narcissism. It's not simply about self-love. It's a deeper, often toxic trait where a person's needs and perspectives are inflated to a point where they consider them more important than anyone else's. Narcissists may lack empathy, feel entitled to admiration, and often disregard others' feelings unless it serves their own desires. Imagine someone in your life who constantly seeks attention, always talking about their accomplishments or problems, rarely acknowledging yours, unless it benefits them in some way. In contrast, Stoicism teaches that true self-esteem comes not from external validation, but from aligning our actions with virtue. For those dealing with narcissistic individuals, Stoicism offers a way forward by encouraging the development of wisdom, justice, courage, and moderation. A Stoic approach to dealing with a narcissist isn't about punishment or rejection, but about maintaining your inner peace and moral integrity. It involves understanding that a narcissist's behavior often stems from deep insecurity masked by outward bravado. It's challenging, yes, but Stoicism teaches us to respond with patience and empathy, recognizing that their actions harm them more than they harm us. However, it's important to protect your own well-being. This isn't about ignoring the problem or accepting manipulative behavior, but about setting boundaries to preserve your emotional health. Stoicism helps us detach from the need to change the narcissist and instead focus on how we respond in ways that align with our values, calm, composed, and with clear understanding of what is within our control. It reminds us that our worth isn't defined by how a narcissist treats us, but by how true we are to our principles, regardless of external circumstances. Now, let's touch on aggression. Aggression goes beyond personality clashes. It could be a direct threat to your well-being. Whether it's verbal, like frequent shouting or interruption, or physical intimidation, aggression creates an environment where you constantly feel on edge, never knowing what will set someone off. From a Stoic perspective, aggression is a violation of social harmony. True strength, according to Stoicism, is found in self-control and rationality, not in overpowering others. Stoics view aggression as a weakness, a failure to master one's emotions. When faced with aggression, the Stoic response is to remain composed and respond with reason, not impulsive emotion. This doesn't mean passively accepting harm, but rather choosing how to protect our peace. If someone is verbally aggressive, we might disengage rather than escalate the situation. In the case of physical aggression, Stoicism teaches us to prioritize safety and make calculated, rational decisions to protect ourselves. But Stoicism also reminds us that aggression often comes from a place of deep fear, insecurity, or pain. Understanding this can help us respond with empathy, seeing the aggressor not as an enemy, but as someone struggling to manage their emotions. Finally, let's explore the victim mentality. Imagine someone who constantly portrays themselves as the perpetual victim, no matter what happens. It's not just about seeking sympathy. It's a strategy to manipulate perceptions, making it difficult to address their behavior without being painted as the aggressor. They deflect responsibility for their actions, avoiding accountability and creating a narrative where they are always the wrong party. Stoicism offers a powerful response to this. It teaches that external events don't harm us. Rather, it's our interpretation of those events that causes distress. A Stoic approach to the victim mentality involves understanding the deeper motivations behind such behavior, often a refusal to take responsibility or face discomfort. A Stoic will empathize, but they won't enable the victim narrative. They'll set boundaries, encourage accountability, and foster a space for constructive feedback. Stoicism also emphasizes the importance of protecting our own mental peace. When dealing with someone who has a victim mentality, we must ensure that their distorted perspective doesn't affect our reality. We must remain firm in our understanding and values, ensuring that our actions are guided by principles, not reactive responses. A Stoic approach teaches us that while we may offer compassion, we don't allow the victim mentality to dictate our emotions or behavior. In all of these situations, whether dealing with narcissism, aggression, or the victim mentality, Stoicism offers us a way to navigate them with wisdom, patience, and integrity. By remaining true to our principles and focusing on what we can control, we can protect our peace, uphold our values, and foster healthier interactions with those around us. Key 1. Stoic, the art of finding balance between compassion and detachment, is essential in creating healthier dynamics in relationships. It's about offering help without becoming emotionally entangled. True compassion allows us to support others, yet remain rooted in our own emotional stability, avoiding the chaos that can come from becoming overwhelmed by others' turmoil. This approach fosters an environment where personal responsibility and growth thrive, not only for ourselves, but also for those we help. Now, let's talk about a challenging yet crucial trait: the superiority complex. This is the mindset where someone constantly feels they are better, smarter, or more important than others. It's an attitude that often breeds disdain for those deemed inferior and can create divisive, unhealthy atmospheres. People with this mindset tend to expect special treatment and grow indignant when they're not given the deference they believe they deserve. The problem is, this behavior doesn't just damage relationships. It disrupts genuine human connection, which requires respect, humility, and mutual understanding. Stoicism provides a powerful antidote to this negative trait. The Stoics taught that true superiority is found not in external factors like wealth or status, but in inner virtues like wisdom and virtue. For someone with a Stoic mindset, everyone has something valuable to offer. Learning from others is a lifelong journey. The wisdom of Stoicism teaches us to approach arrogance with composure, understanding that it often stems from inner insecurity. By choosing not to engage in power struggles or ego battles, we can create an environment of peace and balance. Instead of diminishing others to boost our own self-esteem, Stoics encourage self-improvement and the practice of patience, empathy, and respect. When confronted with someone exhibiting a superiority complex, a Stoic response is grounded in understanding. You don't need to match their arrogance with your own, nor do you need to internalize their behavior. Instead, maintain calm, practice patience, and maybe, just maybe, offer a thoughtful challenge to their perspective. Leading by example with humility and calmness helps foster a more inclusive, respectful environment, one where true leadership and connection can thrive. Next, we encounter jealousy and envy, emotions that can corrode both relationships and inner peace. It's easy to fall into the trap of comparing our lives with others, feeling resentful when others seem to have what we don't. Jealousy often manifests in downplaying others' achievements or even actively sabotaging their progress. From a Stoic perspective, these emotions are irrational, born from misguided values. The Stoics teach us that true happiness and contentment come from within, from cultivating virtue and focusing on our own actions rather than comparing ourselves to others. A Stoic approach to jealousy encourages gratitude. When you're tempted to feel envious, focus on appreciating what you have and work on your own growth instead of fixating on what others possess. This aligns with the Stoic principle of focusing on what we can control rather than wasting energy on things beyond our reach. If you encounter someone driven by jealousy, the Stoic approach is to respond with empathy and understanding, recognizing that these feelings often stem from insecurity or dissatisfaction with their own life. By embodying generosity and non-competitiveness, you might inspire them to reconsider their approach to life and happiness. Lastly, when it comes to a lack of empathy, Stoicism has a profound teaching. Imagine someone who seems completely detached from the emotions of others, either dismissing feelings as irrelevant or overlooking them entirely. This lack of empathy can create a cold and isolating environment, making meaningful relationships nearly impossible. However, Stoicism teaches that emotional detachment doesn't mean ignoring others' suffering. It means responding with rational compassion. Stoics encourage us to understand human emotions deeply, not by emotional contagion, but through a rational, empathetic approach to others' experiences. When faced with someone who lacks empathy, Stoicism encourages us to lead by example, demonstrating genuine care, listening attentively, and showing understanding might gently guide others to mirror these qualities. Furthermore, Stoicism teaches patience and non-judgment, recognizing that a person's emotional capacity is shaped by their experiences and inherent nature. Instead of condemning them for their lack of empathy, offer an example of compassionate rationality. This helps create a harmonious environment where emotional understanding can flourish. Through all of this, the Stoic practice of inner reflection provides a foundation for true growth. The strength of your character isn't measured by the absence of challenges, but by how you respond to them. By embracing Stoic wisdom and integrating it into our daily lives, we not only improve ourselves, but also contribute to creating a more compassionate, resilient, and harmonious world. So, let's continue our journey towards virtue and tranquility together. Thank you for being part of this exploration of Stoicism and personal growth.